All right, my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to go over my favorite racing games, and talk about like the force feedback and the overall experience in that. And I want to rate my favorite games so that you guys can have something to play or to look forward to or to see what games really make me tick and keep me getting in my cockpit and jumping on my sim equipment. So let me go over my my setup first. I have the Next Level Racing FGT cockpit with a TV mount. I have a 42-inch LG C2 OLED that I have hooked up just for that, just for sim racing. I just recently today upgraded my cockpit to the Next Level Racing ERS3 racing seat. I bought that, installed that. I got a full build video coming out for that. It's over an hour long, but setting it up was an interesting thing. But now that I've got it set up, it's fine. Paired with my Next Level Racing cockpit is the Camus DD, the Camus C12 or the Camus 12 Newton meter DD C12. Paired with the Camus LC100 racing pedals. That is the setup that I have right now. I'm currently not using a shifter. I only use paddle shift, and my favorite type of games are rally games, but I've been doing a lot of GT3 and LMP car racing. So let's get into my list. So this is going to cover console, this is going to cover PC, and pretty much everything, both with the Fanatec DD Pro, because I also have a Fanatec DD Pro, the 8 Newton meter Fanatec GT7 DD Pro, paired with the Club Sport V2 Universal Hub. And well, I had the 330 millimeter rim on there, but now I have since switched that to the 300 millimeter rim that came with the C12 and put my R330 rim on the Camus. So those are the two setups that I'm working with. Is the Camus and the Fanatec. I use the Fanatec when I play my console games and stuff like that. So most of the settings, for that and derived from the force feedback and all of that are going to be from that. So we're going to go ahead and start with the game that I like that I least. That I least like the way the overall force feedback feels, and that is going to be Gran Turismo 7. Now, this game feels incredible on a controller. It feels great if you're using the motion controls. That's fine if you set it up on a cockpit. When I was first racing that with the PSVR 2, I had my Camus set up, and that was for PC only. So what I would do is I just use the motion controls and then just kind of roll it on the wheel, and that was actually pretty satisfying. Actually, pretty good. You get to feel the rumble in the controller and all of that stuff. But with the force feedback on the Fanatec DD Pro, I could just never get that game to feel. It's not that it feels bad. It doesn't feel bad. It just doesn't give me enough feedback for me. I for some reason I just like more realistic feedback. And for Gran Turismo 7, like it gives you feedback, but it doesn't give me enough feedback to actually I kind of just feel like it feels a little bit, not necessarily watered down, but it does. It kind of feels watered down. It feels a little bit too soft. I've played with a bunch of settings. I've tried a couple of other streamer settings, and Gran Turismo is my least favorite when it comes to overall force feedback on a direct drive wheel. Gran Turismo Sport was one of the first games that I ever played on a wheel setup. And that actually felt pretty good on a belt drive wheel. So I wonder if Gran Turismo 7 actually feels better on a belt driven setup, like a Thrustmaster or something. I don't know. For me, the force feedback on Gran Turismo 7 just does not give me the feeling that I'm looking for. I like more raw, rough, more. I like more feedback. I just do. And Gran Turismo 7 just really lacks that for me. Like, it is still 100% playable. It is still 100% enjoyable. Playing it with the VR, with the headset, you know, with the wheel and everything, it's fine. Like, you can play it. You can 100% enjoy that. So, yeah, Gran Turismo 7 is probably my least favorite. So, and then from there, we're going to go to Project Cars 3. Project Cars 3 does feel a little bit better, but it still feels more of that like arcade feeling, and that's something that Gran Turismo and Project Cars 3 pretty much share. Project Cars 3 feels slightly better, but at the same time, it still kind of feels a little bit arcadey. I know that Slightly Mad Studios was trying to, you know, penetrate more of a casual market for that experience. I still find Project Cars 3 to be pretty dang good, but overall, it's definitely down there with Gran Turismo 7. So after that, you have pretty much Project Cars 2 and R Factor. For me, like, these two games, like Project Cars 2 definitely feels better. I like the way Project Cars 2 feels, but R Factor 2, I've played some of that. It definitely feels better than Gran Turismo 7. It definitely feels better than the overall Project Cars 3. But to me, it kind of feels a little bit in between Project Cars 2 and I don't want to say, Automobilista 2. Like, it kind of feels in between there. I only played iRacing for a couple of minutes, so we're not going to cover that one. And then from there, we're going to start getting into the games that I actually play a lot more. And this is mostly all GT racing so far. Now we're going to be talking about, like, Automobilista 2 and, you know, like Assetto Corsa Competizione and Forza Motorsport. So the next one after the other two is going to be Forza Motorsport. Forza Motorsport overall, okay, now this here is where things get a little bit interesting for me in sim racing, because Forza Motorsport, Automobilista 2, and Assetto Corsa Competizione are the three games that I literally jump around the most. If I'm not playing one of those, I'm playing one of the other. If I'm not playing, you know, I'm usually playing one of those three games. But Forza Motorsport is going to be at the bottom of that list, and Forza Motorsport, okay, there's this one feeling in the force feedback that I like, in terms of like, okay, that feels cool, I like that, but it really messes with my driving to a point where I'm like, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. And that is when you're turning a corner, you start to get like this little wobble in the feeling of the force feedback. Sometimes that feels good and I can deal with it. It just depends on the day I'm racing and how I'm feeling. But other days, it's something that, okay, so if I go from like an ACC or Automobilista 2 over to Forza, I can't play it. But if I start Forza Motorsport, I'm usually okay with it. But it's still one of those things where I can't go from one of my other games to Forza, so that there makes it kind of a that's the reason why I puts it lower on the list. Everything else is fine when you got, you know, like road curbs, compatibility with my Camus and Fanatec. Everything else for that feels pretty dang good for me, except for that one setting. I definitely wish that, you know, I could figure something out for that. But overall, the racing, the way it feels on the wheel setup, the amount of settings and everything that you get for Forza Motorsport definitely puts that in a much higher class, and definitely puts that in my top 3 to go to for track racing. The next one on the list is going to be Automobilista 2. Now, Automobilista 2, when I first got it, it wasn't that great. Like, it was a little bit rough. But ever since version like 1.5, I believe it was like 1.4, 1.5, they did something that completely fixed the overall force feedback in that game. And that one there is actually awesome too. It's compatible with both my Fanatec and my Camus setup, so I don't have any problems with that. And so the only thing that really separates Automobilista 2 from the Forza Motorsport experience is the fact that I don't get that wobble. So if I wanted to go from Automobilista 2 to Assetto Corsa Competizione, It's a lot easier to do that, and I don't lose a whole lot of time or a whole lot of. I don't have to focus on learn or like feeling something else. Like it's a lot closer to or to Assetto Corsa Competizione than it is to Forza. So Automobilista 2 is definitely in my second spot for most 3 played. Whereas obviously Assetto Corsa Competizione is the number 1 for me. Also, I love Assetto Corsa, but I don't play that nowhere near as much as any of the other games. Assetto Corsa Competizione. Now, from the moment I bought that game and started playing that on a wheel setup, I did start playing that on my Thrustmaster TX, and that was tough. That was tough, man. That game was pretty hard. It didn't really, but it was still good. I could still tell that the overall feeling for that game was very good. But once I switched over to Direct Drive and started playing that on PC, man, that game really came alive. There is more overall force feedback and feeling of realness in Assetto Corsa Competizione that I absolutely freaking love that game. Like, I cannot get enough of it. And then the fact that they just brought the Nordschleife to it, man, that bumps that game so far up there that I have been playing a lot of Assetto Corsa Competizione again. I've actually got another video coming out tonight for it with testing out the ER3 the ERS3 racing seat that I just put on there, and my gosh, man, like the way that Assetto Corsa Competizione feels and the way it just sucks me right into it, and I can just sit there and do lap after lap after lap and fully enjoy that experience is none other than absolute peak greatness for sim racing. Now I want to jump over to my like my rally racing games. So I play EA Sports WRC. I play the Kiloton WRC games. I play Dirt Rally 2.0. I play Dirt Rally 2. I also play Sebastian Loeb Rally, and then some of the other different rally games that are out there. Mainly my least favorite out of all of those rally games that I have is probably going to be EA Sports WRC. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, but Frog, this is the best game ever. I like the way the cars feel. I like, I kind of like the way the cars feel. I kind of feel like they're a lot more watered down than they were on Dirt Rally 2.0. But there are things that I like about EA Sports WRC, but then when I'm on those tracks, they just look so mundane that I'm not even joking, guys. Like, I literally will start falling asleep while I'm driving them. They are that boring to me in terms of like overall just they just look blah. They're not exciting or anything like that. They're just they're just I don't know. They just look they look very generic to me, and that's probably the best way I can explain that. And so, like, overall force feedback though feels incredible. The way the cars feel, it feels incredible. But gosh dang, man, the tracks just make it so it's like, ooh boy, I don't want to play that. And so, the games that I usually play more when it comes to rally racing. I don't play Dirt Rally 2 as much anymore, just due to the fact that the stages are really short, and I've driven them so many times that I just I'm just kind of like, oh boy, it's weird. But overall force feedback and drivability of Dirt Rally 2.0 is like second to none. The way that, like, it freaks me out to drive that Audi B class. Like, I'm still kind of freaked out about that car, but gosh dang, man. And I've tested that, that car on Dirt Rally 2.0 versus EA Sports WRC, and man, I just can't freaking they've watered it down. It's so much easier to control on EA Sports WRC. And I'm just like, gosh dang, man, I wish that they would have just brought the overall feeling of Dirt Rally 2.0 to WRC, to EA Sports WRC. I feel like they made that game more for a casual audience, and it shows and it feels that way. But the ones I play the most is going to be WRC 10. WRC 10 is probably the game that I play the most. I absolutely love Generations because it has all the content that you could ever want. But I love WRC 10. I love the way the cars feel, and I just really enjoy playing that. The force feedback feels awesome on both the Camus and the Fanatec. Camus works on EA Sports and Dirt Rally 2.0 as well. So the fact that I can use my wheel setup on all these games, but yeah, man, like the Kiloton WRC games to me just have the more raw, better overall force feedback. I like that noise that I get from that, as well as, you know, the overall feeling that I get while I'm driving in WRC 10. And pretty much all of them feel about the same for the most part. You can definitely tell that 10 and Generations definitely probably feel the best, but 9 is still pretty dang good. 8 is pretty good. So yeah, those are the ones I play. I'm not really into a whole lot of F1 games. I don't really care to keep buying, you know, EA's F1 games. I don't really play them. I don't really enjoy F1 racing too much, and I think most of that is due to the track selection. If I had, like, you know, like Nordschleife and a lot of the other tracks, maybe I would definitely play it more, but I just don't, because I don't really care much for the tracks that are in the F1 series. So yeah, those are the games that I play, guys. The ones that I play the most right now, honestly, is probably Assetto Corsa Competizione and WRC 10 or WRC Generations. Those are the ones that I'm usually playing and, you know, like making videos and stuff for, because those are the games that I want to play. This whole weekend, like actually last weekend, the weekend, man, that's all I could do is just, I just wanted to play sim racing games. That's why you guys have gotten so many racing games or so many racing videos lately, because it's just, that's where my head is right now. And that's what I'm focusing on. So, all right, my friends, I hope this video helps you guys out to find something to play racing wise. As more games come out, we'll be looking at, you know, Assetto Corsa Evo, and we'll also be looking at, you know, GT Revival soon. GT Revival is going to be made by Slightly Mad Studios, the makers of Project Cars, the makers of, you know, Need for Speed Shift, and then obviously Assetto Corsa Competizione, Assetto Corsa Evo is being made by the same guys that did Assetto Corsa Competizione and Assetto Corsa. So these are some freaking pretty awesome games that we've got coming out, man. Like, I'm really looking forward to this, and yeah, dude, I'm pretty excited about it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.